Everything that we do, we create.
What's up, guys? Hey, this is Darius, the Professor Wise. I am here with the phenomenal Dr. Denise, the Truth Seeker. Welcome to another episode of PTST, Provoking Thought, Seeking Truth. Dr. Denise, how are you today?
I'm on an even keel today.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I may have to whip out my rocks, but
Well,
we'll just see. We'll just see. But
sometimes
hello,
that even keel is
people.
good.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
so. So I want to thank you all for joining us on PTST. It's really a pleasure. It's an honor to have you with us, and we appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Now, I had a friend tell me the other day that our videos were very interesting.
That's good to hear.
I said, right? And when I said, it means tell me some more, right? And he said, well, you guys talk about stuff that is not talked about every day. It's not an everyday conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that never dawned on me. I said, because this is the conversation that I have with me every day.
Right.
And so we just appreciate you tuning in, lending us your eyes, your ears, and most of all, your heart. We appreciate
Very grateful for that.
Yeah. We appreciate having you with us. So you're worth $1 million and you're a miracle. You remember that from last time?
And you're phenomenal.
All right. So, Darius, I got 101 things on my mind today.
All right.
And I wait a minute. Maybe I do need my rocks to bring me down a little bit. But first of all, Darius, I want you to be very cautious about what you say today.
Uh-oh. Okay.
You're gonna tell what happened, or do I have to be the blabbermouth?
With what? You can tell what's on your mind.
But you getting banned from Facebook and Instagram. Darius got kicked off of Facebook and Instagram.
And WhatsApp. They kicked me off of everything. I don't know what I did to Facebook, but yeah, I had to go out and create a new account. So for those who were following me on social media, I am at Darius A. Wise, but this time Wise is W, the number 1 S-E. So DARIUSA W1 SE. I don't know what happened, Denise. I really don't. It was actually on Halloween. I think it was Halloween. And I went to just open up Instagram, I think, and it said, your account has been, it didn't say banned at first. It said that your account has been, I can't remember what they even said. But basically they had banned my account. And so, and it said because of something I did on Facebook. So I go to Facebook. Facebook won't let me log in. It gives me all this stuff about how I can have this reviewed and everything. But needless to say, at the end of the day, they never reviewed it. They never gave me an opportunity. I mean, they told me that they didn't have enough people because of COVID or something. So I just created a new account on all of them, but I still can't get into WhatsApp. It's crazy because Facebook owns all of that stuff. So once Facebook banned me or whatever, Instagram did, because Facebook owns Instagram. And then I was on WhatsApp because I use that as well. And WhatsApp said that my number was no longer a number that could use the application. So I still can't get into WhatsApp because I still have the same phone number. So it's all interesting. I have no idea. I have mixed feelings about it. I have mixed feelings. One is I had a lot of connections and I did a lot of stuff on there. And I hate that I had to lose that. But the second, and the other way is I still want to be able to reach out to people and put out great stuff so people can better themselves and level up and then keep in touch with the kids and all that kind of stuff and what they're doing. So,
Okay.
So I'm in that mixed feeling like, do I even want to bother or don't? But it's kind of where I am right now. But that was very interesting. I don't know why. I still don't to this day, to this moment. I have no idea what happened because at the time that this happened, I hadn't even posted anything like that day or anything. I don't think I posted something that day. I don't know what it was. So I still have no clue what happened.
I'll be daggone. Yeah, because the stuff that you put out there is pretty innocuous.
Exactly. So I don't know what it was.
I don't know either, Darius.
Well, those watching, I want you to know that somebody understands that we're giving you some good stuff that can change things. So definitely pay attention.
We? Why
I just promoted.
They didn't bother me. All I do is laugh a lot and hit my rocks.
No, that's just I'm talking about like on the show.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Well, but I'm back.
Okay.
We're
back.
We are back.
Yeah, because
PTSD is in.
Yeah, we took a little vacation.
Just a little.
Yeah. So it's good to be back with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Darius, what we're going to talk about? Like I said, I have so much on my mind. I was thinking that we could pick up where we left off last time when we were talking about people, how you are a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the fact that we don't think about that because that's not our focus. Our focus is everything that is external. You know, we may learn this stuff in a biology class or an anatomy class, but we never take it. We know it, we understand it, but we don't apply it to ourselves.
Exactly.
We don't internalize it. We don't synthesize it. So we don't see ourselves as having as much energy as a bolt of lightning.
Yeah, and we do.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're saying, like we don't realize it. I think it's more so we don't realize that we have that energy and we're not conditioned to understand when we take in all these things, all this external stimulation, when we take all this in, I don't think we are programmed to understand what we are able and what we're capable of doing with it once we have it. Be it positive or negative.
Well, I think one of the things though that we're talking about is when you think about all of the electrical impulses that run through our body that enable me to raise my hands like this and run my mouth, right? We're not conscious of the electrical force that's inside of us that enables us to do this.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what's so miraculous. We think, oh, stuff. We just do what we do. So we take our we take our power for granted.
Yep. We neglect it. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're not, we're not conditioned to pay attention to energy
Yes.
because you can't see energy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some people can. We only see 2% of what's really
Of the
out there.
spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine if we could see more. It would probably be scary for some people. But
Yeah.
no, but this didn't come to me happenstance.
Nothing
Right?
does.
I was on a mission. Can I tell a story? I want to tell one of my
Sure.
funny stories.
Please do.
Okay. When I started graduate school, working on my PhD, right, in clinical psychology, I went through a
Mm-hmm.
summer session and then I went through a fall semester. At the end of my fall semester, when I finished my last final exam, I went home, I sat down on the sofa, and I cried and I cried and I said, what the hell is this all about? And then I listened to my sobs, what I was saying inside, and
Mm-hmm.
my inner voice was saying, where's my God?
Mm-hmm.
Where's my God in all of this? I don't see, I don't see my God. In other words, I don't see a part of me that I know is present.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I said, I'm not doing this. Just a second. I got to tickle my throat. I said, I'm not doing this. I'm not going back. I'm not connecting with this. Right. But then I had three wise men approach me. Right. One of them was an African arts performer. He played djembe drum and did storytelling and all that stuff. And I connected with him and started learning about vibrations and whatnot. And then we used to spend tons of time listening to African Mental Liberation Weekend that was broadcast on a channel out of Berkeley, California.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The other wise man was this brother who had a bachelor's degree in English literature, a master's degree in psychology, and a PhD in divinity. And he was into quantum physics
Mm-hmm.
and did body work and, and understood energy, right? As a
Okay.
matter of fact, I did a training with him that is kind of like Reiki, but it's an old ancient African technology called Ankara. I think I may have shared the chart with you, Darius. Okay. So then another person, the other wise man, was this person who was involved in the Church of Scientology.
Mm. Okay.
Right. And he had some deep Louisiana roots. He was more powerful than he knew himself to be. Right. And I would just kind of listen to some of the things that he would say. But at any rate, these three wise men kind of lifted me up and helped me to understand better what I was really not seeing in my training.
Mm.
Remember, I told you I would take 2 sets of notes.
Right.
All right. And so that enabled me to go on back into school and continue with my coursework. All right. Then I get to take this class called the biological basis of behavior.
Mm.
Right? Everybody was
The
scared to death of
biological basis. Okay.
the biological basis of behavior. And everybody hated this course. They were scared of it because there was so much science to it. And the
Mm-hmm.
professor, he was really He was really left brain, logical. As a matter of fact, he used to walk like this. One side of his head was heavier than the other, right? Really
That left
logical.
side had a lot of weight on it.
Oh gosh. All right. So I get this $60 book for this course, and I open it up, and there's a quote in there by Descartes,
Mm.
right? The
Mm-hmm.
philosopher.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had saved that book, but the books were so expensive, we used to just pass them on to underclassmen. But the quote said something to the effect that there is an energy, a force that propels this biological basis that is external to the body, but we don't know what it is.
Mm. Mm.
And I said, oh crap, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so throughout this course, all we learn about the biological basis of behavior was what goes on inside the body. What I never saw an image of the body lit up as an electromagnetic being.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that's what's missing from
Mm-hmm.
this teaching. And so I had the three wise men who were able to explain to me what was missing from the biological basis of behavior. Actually, it was there, but it wasn't presented in a form which we could understand so that we would know just how powerful we are. In other words, how we really, really work
Mm-hmm.
as a living organism, as an electromagnetic field or an electromagnetic body, one that sends out energy, electricity, and one that receives like a magnet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh my God, that's why I had that breakdown after the first semester. I wasn't seeing this. I wasn't seeing the connection. And I wasn't
Right.
seeing the connection as it really is. You know, and the biological basis of behavior, we're presented as a piece of meat.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
with all these organs and all these cells and whatnot. But and so that's how we know ourselves to be.
Right.
This body with these organs and these cells and so on and so forth that deteriorate and get diseases, and these biological things that happen within us, all of the chemicals and whatnot that fire the cells that make us crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, what is it that makes us functional? What is it that makes us a creative force?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, how do we really work?
How do we work?
Yeah, because we are a spirit with a body. We're not a body with a spirit.
Right.
Spirit comes first because that is that's the force that propels us.
Mm-hmm.
It's the breath of life. And you know what, Darius? I know I told you I had a lot on my mind. But I have all of these little things pinned up. In Genesis 2:7, it says, we are dust, stardust, really, vitalized by the breath of a living God,
Mhm.
right? And it is that breath or that energy
Mhm.
that animates us.
Yeah, and we are full of that. And I think one of the key things that people need to understand when we talk about this energy is something that you said a little earlier, is that you can't see it.
No.
And we've been so programmed that, like, if we can't see it, then it must not be real. And that is so not the case in this situation. And we miss so much because we're thinking, those of us who have the luxury of sight, if we can't see something, we believe, we act like it's not there. It's not real. But it is. And one of the things is, and I don't know if I'm kind of going ahead of where you are, but one of the things that just kind of, I'll just mention this quickly, is that lets you know that this is real, is our thoughts emit electricity.
Well, let's back up a minute.
All right. So I didn't know if I was going to go too far real quick.
Let's back up a minute. Because wait. I get these things. I got all these little papers running around here. But
Mm-hmm.
before we even, a thought is energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I've been back to Hanel.
Oh, the master
right?
key.
The Master Key by Charles Hanel was written in 1912.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But he writes about all of this.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
does.
And the one thing that and I enjoyed it and grew. I mean, I did this book in mastermind classes with groups of people for about 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the one thing that he does in this book is he focuses less on the whole idea of energy, that
Right.
which is not seen, and he jumps right to thought. And
Yep.
so you went through this. Did you go through this entire book?
Yes. We did it twice.
Twice, one and a
Yep.
half times, because I remember.
Well, yeah, one.
We ought to start another Master Key class and do it via Zoom.
We can.
Ooh,
That book is very enlightening, though.
Yeah, but I think that we could expound more on the things that Hanel didn't really focus on, because he
Right.
focused more on that part, left brain stuff, that kind of stuff that's logical, that's focused on reading and writing, that's focused on materialization, calculation,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, thinking in words and facts, and more
Right.
biological. He doesn't focus on that energy aspect. As a matter of fact, when he talks about the eye, he talks about this is how he says it. All right. And it's a whole chapter. But if you're not really paying attention, you lose it. He says, the eye of you is not the physical body.
Mm-hmm.
That is simply an instrument which the eye uses to carry out its purposes. The I cannot be the mind, for the mind is simply another instrument which the I uses with which to think, reason, and plan. So the thought is the tool.
Yes.
It's not the I.
Now, can you tell people what he means by the I so they understand that part?
All right. Let me get to my, you know what, Darius, there was stuff that I was looking for in here today that I could not find. I was so done with myself. All right. The I must be something which controls and directs both the body and the mind. All right. And I believe that the body and the mind is connected through the senses. And the senses is something that you cannot see. It's energy.
Yes.
All right. So the I is something which determines what they shall do and how they shall act. When you come into a realization of the true nature of this I, you will enjoy a sense of power which you have never known before.
Yep.
All right. That I used to feel when I was like 5 years old, and I used to wonder what the heck is this, right? But I used to run. I was a runner. I mean, I would run around the block 5 times, and I do it so fast just so that I could get this feeling. Right?
Wow.
And it was like I could, as a child, you don't lose your imagination so early sometimes. You can imagine yourself, and it was almost like I could fly sometimes. So that's the I of you. The big I is the electromagnetic field, or the spirit part of you.
There you go.
And it's nothing but energy. When you start talking about spirit and spiritual and let the spirits guide you and whatnot, people get a little frightened.
Yeah.
Right? They go, oh, or they think you're talking about some mambo jumbo hoobie jooby stuff. And that's how
it's the energy.
We're talking about energy. We don't access our personal, we don't know how we work. Or should I say, we don't pay attention to it. I think back in our very first video, we talked about the self concept, and then we talked about the true self.
Yep.
The I is the true self.
The true self.
Has been swept under the counter, under the carpet, should I say. Am I yelling?
No, you're good.
See, I get excited when I talk about this stuff because this is what
it's exciting though.
Me.
Yeah, but so when I think of that, right? When I think of all of this, I go back and I think about it. It always comes to mind being a Jedi in Star Wars, right? And they always say use the Force, and the Force is within you. And that's how I conceptualize this. It's like there's a force inside of you that connects you to what's around you, what's in the universe, and all that, but you can't see it. And not everybody has been trained or conditioned enough to understand that it's there and it's inside of everybody. And that's how we actually operate. So we have this energy that is really in control of everything that we're doing and who we are. So that's kind of just how I conceptualize that. It's like using the force. And once we are able to control that, understand that it's there, and then control it within ourselves, we can now function with this avatar body that we have in the way that we can do the work that needs to be done.
Okay, so, but you're still going too fast because you're talking
Okay.
about actually controlling it. The thing is to be conscious of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
To
that's what
be
I'm saying. So knowing that it's
conscious
even
of
there.
it. Well, exactly. And so we are this world order that we have been entangled in since the dark ages
Mm-hmm.
has not acknowledged
Right.
this aspect. It's all been reduced to logic and reading and writing. It has not been acknowledged that there is such a thing as intuition or images that come forth in our mind, that there's imagination, there's holistic thinking, there's
Mm-hmm.
a message in the music, there are the arts, um, there's feelings, there's visualizations. And remember, Hanel talks a lot about visualization in his
Mm-hmm.
book. All right. But now get ready for this. All right. When you have those kinds of experiences, they are intuitive
Mm-hmm.
experiences. Okay. They come, oh, I put my book down. They come from within.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I remember a couple of videos back, you said that you were having you were getting downloads.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And you said that you were trying to understand them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The thing is that these kinds of images, these kinds of visualizations, and this type of knowledge that is innate comes to you without a set of words. There are no words.
None.
There are no words sometimes to describe what it is you're saying. All right. That's what's called, it's an aspect of the feminine principle.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
It's it's uh, how do I want to say it? It is an aspect of the feminine principle which was swept under the carpet. In other words, it was not emphasized. All right. It was forgotten about because then the world of logic and thought took precedent. And that's part of the masculine design, that patriarchal, patrician design of
Mm-hmm.
being in the world.
Right.
Okay. So
Okay.
there's sometimes no words to describe what it is you're experiencing. And oftentimes
Mm-hmm.
this stuff doesn't come through the five senses.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This comes through forces of energy. All
Right.
right. That ignite the knowledge within you.
Right.
And it kind of bubbles up. So what you have to do is then find that spirit message
Mm-hmm.
and connect it with something, with the words that can describe it. And sometimes we have a difficult time doing that.
We do. And it's for, well, one of the things I'll say is when you're going through that, it doesn't show up. Like you said, it doesn't show up in words. And even when we, within our own mind, see it, we see in images, as in pictures. And some of those, that part of the brain that translate those things into words doesn't recognize it in a way that it can now share it verbally.
Right. It's the hippocampus that deals with that intuitive. But the reason why it does not translate is because it has been for such a long time.
Right. It's dormant.
It's atrophied. And so when we talk about damn, I forgot what I was getting ready to say. It's dormant. What's oh gosh. It is atrophy. To think of the brain, and I know this wasn't where I was going, to think of the brain as kind of a muscle, and you have to exercise it. Because now, remember, I remember you saying we only use 10% of our brain,
right? If that,
if that. So there's a big part of our brain that gets unused because we are not focused on what comes to us intuitively. It goes back on education, where we are told what to think,
yes,
believe, and anything that bubbles up inside of us is a no-no.
Right. That is to be ignored.
Exactly. But wait a minute. I told you I had a lot to say.
All right.
And some of my snooping around and wondering, what the hell is this? I discovered that something in Catholic Church in, I believe it was 565. All right.
Okay.
Where, then I see it. Yeah. Where a group of archbishops got together and decreed that a woman had no soul. You had to take a sip of water.
Needed a drink off of them.
I mean, there was a whole bunch of other stuff that happened, but I'm not going there. I'm just talking about what happened. I believe it was 565. There was something that happened in 555. I have to look at my notes. But at any rate, the decree was that a woman has no soul.
Okay.
All right. And you think about what the soul really consists of. It's like emotion, intellect, and will. All right. At that time, this whole idea of the feminine principle and intuition, that which was inside, was at its peak. It was being used. All right. It was not something that was swept away. It was just a part of a way of being, where people use both. They use their intuitive, innate mental health and their imagination and their vision, along with their logic.
Right.
Right. They use the words, they use calculations, but they also use images and visions. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's called right brain, left brain kind of thinking. I'm going
Right.
to use your word, but you have to use both.
Right.
All right. And so there's a crossover process that occurs. There's nerves that cross over right brain, left brain that connect the two,
Mm-hmm.
which keeps an individual in balance.
Right.
It keeps their way of being in balance. And because women were getting a lot of feelings, sensations, imaginations, visualizations, visions,
Mm-hmm.
which ruled them. In other words, they are allowing that internal force to rule them. They became a threat because
Right.
it was like, I know something. I don't know how I know it, but I know it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then the other side of the brain is saying, oh, but you have to prove it. It has to be logical. Intuition is oftentimes not logical.
Nope.
Intuition sometimes has no words,
Right.
right? So, therefore, the archbishops declared that because that was an aspect of the feminine, decreed that that aspect of being had no valence, it had no validity. And if you did any of that, you were not human. That's why witches got burned at the
Mm.
stake. But so
Yeah.
now this decree has been activated in 565. Nobody ever talks about that,
Of course not.
right? And so, but it's acted out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Dumb blondes, women ain't got good sense. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And sometimes with men, because men have that aspect as well. Okay. But it's buried, right? And the fact that the archbishops, the papacy, decreed that women were imbeciles and didn't have a soul, got
Mm-hmm.
buried. But the thought is still there, but it's not conscious.
Right.
It's part
Right.
of the collective mindset that is
Mm-hmm.
buried deep. And it's like, why do they say those kind of things about women? You know, why women didn't have a soul?
Right. And everything starts to get built upon that concept. And so you had mentioned earlier that, we don't use this energy, we don't understand it, we don't talk about it. It's because of things like that that have been part of the foundation of this world order that we're a part of right now.
Right.
Those things not even discussed, so we don't even question it. It is we've gone through life at this point with the thought process of it just is what it is, and not understanding that someone put these things in place in order to hide who you
Suffocate.
truly are. Yes, and control. And so that is what we need to understand and start to breathe life back into within ourselves in understanding and knowing that this energy is there, and knowing that this is a part of who you are, and it's not a issue where you're crazy or you're thinking you don't think the way other people think, so something's wrong with you. It's that we have to take that right side of the brain and work it and use it in conjunction with the left side of the brain, as you were talking about earlier.
That's right. That's why I said it's time for Big Mama to come back.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's like the world within.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what Hanel says. But when you have learned to control yourself, you will have found the world within, which controls the world without.
Yep.
You will have become irresistible. People will respond to you without any effort on your part.
Mm-hmm.
This is not so strange or impossible as it may appear when you remember that the world within, the solar plexus stuff is where it sits. This world within is controlled by the big I. And this big I is part of the infinite, which is the universal energy or spirit, usually called God.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Usually. And he has another quote in here which describes God as a force of energy, but I'll be daggone if I can find it. I'm not looking today. So can we put the images up so that we can see that we are really, I just want to plant that in people's minds so that they can begin to visualize it, begin to take it in, because a picture is worth 1,000 words.
So we are full of this energy.
This is who we are. Who we be is not who we be. We weren't taught this about who we really be. We are an electromagnetic force or a spirit being. Just stay with that for a minute. Just look. There's another one. I like this one because it shows not just an individual that is lit from the inside, but it shows the emanation, because we take in information and knowledge and then
we release it.
We're like emanating forces.
Mm-hmm.
And if some people can actually see the light around other people. Have you ever just looked at somebody and saw that they were glowing?
Yeah, that aura.
It's an aura. And sometimes you just see people and they just look so dark and their energy level is low. But I don't want to scare you guys. I don't want you walking around staring at people trying to
figure it out.
Because just being conscious of the force, this energy that fills us, it surrounds us, it enfolds us, it runs through us. We're not closed systems.
No. And we've been, because of how we've been conditioned, I'm going to say how we've been programmed, we are numb to the feelings that this gives. Like, we feel this. You can feel this energy if you are in sync with it. You can feel this, but we have numbed it to the point where we've numbed ourselves to the point where we don't even realize the energy that we're emitting. See, we're taking all this stuff in and we feel the pressure and the weight of the world, but we don't take time to understand the force within us, the energy within us that allows us to change our current situations, to change the vibration around us. And this, I think, is a great depiction. So we at least can start to be in a situation where we understand and we just know and we're conscious of the fact that this energy is within us. It's not just what we're taking on from outside. We also have this energy that's within us as well.
I think first we just need to be conscious. We need
Mm-hmm.
to imagine yourself as a spirit force.
Yep.
Just imagine before you even begin to try to control or change
Mm-mm.
anything, just pay attention to
Yep.
the energy running through your body. Pay attention to how you feel when you're around in certain situations.
Yep.
Pay attention to what you do. Sometimes
Mm.
we place the emphasis on controlling the situation, but first pay attention to what it is you need to master or manage. Just be with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if we don't spend time, we're always in such a hurry to fix
Yep.
this and fix that and think this way and think that way. This is perhaps a new concept, a new way of understanding who you be. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's going to take a minute to digest, to be with it, and to start paying attention to your body. Start paying attention to what happens when you're in certain situations. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Think of your think of your body as a car. You don't just get in a car and start to drive it, right? You got to know how the blinkers work, how the windshield wipers work, how to defrost, sometimes how to turn the car on and off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know these things about a car, know its internal workings. How in the world do I work this navigation system? How do I open the trunk? How is it that the trunk opens? What do I, you know, and then you can begin to apply it. But just being with it. Don't just get in the car and drive. It's like putting a 7-year-old in a car and say, go drive, you know?
Unfortunately, a lot of people operate that way, though.
But I don't care how they did operate. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying, I'm just trying to provoke some thought,
Mm-hmm.
not tell you what to think, but to provoke some thought, get you to think about it a little bit, spend some time with it, and then seek the truth about how you work. You're not gonna, a
Mm-hmm.
Volkswagen is not gonna operate the same as what is the name of that car that's so expensive? The Maybach? What is that car?
The Maybach, the
Yeah, see,
Mercedes.
I don't know
Mm-hmm.
nothing about all that high price stuff. it's it's not gonna work the same. You're not gonna work the same. Think about the mandala
Mm-hmm.
and there's a difference which is one of degree between each and every one of us, not 1 degree, but one of degree. So it's like, just be with this, find your own truth about how you work and not allow anyone else to tell you.
I'm conscious of you.
Be Yeah, because if you're aware of the possibility,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to see it.
Yeah.
But if you're not aware that maybe when you hold your hands like this in a relaxed state and you're calm, that you can actually feel your hands tingling.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel the energy running through your body. I mean, that's what I do with meditation. It's like slow your body down, pay attention to it, pay attention to how the energy flows through your body.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any places where you need to get that broom and just go inside and sweep? Don't think about it. Don't try to change it. Just be with
Feel,
it. Yeah, say
feel.
I be
Mm-hmm.
the big I be. I'm done. I told you I had a lot on my mind. I
I know. And
I
you
said
did. You shared a lot. You
I
shared a
did.
lot.
I
And,
did.
and I want to leave everybody with this before we go.
He's gonna give you an
Become
assignment. Don't do
no,
that.
I'm not gonna give you yeah, I am. I am. Well, actually I am. I am. Be conscious. That's it. And I think the key to it is we have to be conscious of this energy that we have. We have to now the challenge though is the world that we live in pushes us so much that we are afraid a lot of times to just slow down and take that time, like you were saying, Denise, and sit there and feel it and even meditate and even just have that time by ourselves. We feel like we are not productive if we don't do this. So we have to take time and just slow down and stop and understand what we're doing, because once we understand, we can be so much more productive if that's your focus. But we have to just stop and slow down and take the time to do these things that you were just sharing. So that's the homework. Slow down,
Okay.
gain consciousness
I
of who you are, and take some time to feel that energy that's already in you.
Yeah, because it flows. It's not just
Mhm.
it's not dormant. But you
And
one
it's
other
not
thing,
stagnant.
one other thing, Darius. This is real interesting. I do a little life coaching, spiritual life coaching. The
Mhm.
name I do it under Inside Outside Healing Center. But many times when I work with individuals, I discover and they discover that they are afraid to be still. They
Yep.
are afraid to feel what's going on inside of them. And it's
Mhm.
like they're afraid of God.
Which is who they are. Leave that
And
right
so we
there.
go, yeah. And so they go to the doctor, right? There's a psychosomatic stuff going on here. Don't be afraid. Please don't be afraid of the big I, because the big I is going to tell you who you are.
I agree.
And that is the big I. You are the big I.
I agree.
I am that I am. All right. Be still, be
Be
loved,
still.
be at peace. I'm sending your heart love
Yes.
from the
Yes.
bottom of my heart. I appreciate you all, and we'll see you the next time. Sorry I had so much to say, Darius, but I couldn't help myself.
Sometimes, I'm just here for the ride. Good stuff. Hey guys, like the video, share the video, make sure that you get the notifications and you subscribe to the channel, PTST. So we will see you next time. We love you and be phenomenal. That's it for you, Denise?
That's it.
All right. Have
I'm
a good one,
out.
guys. We'll see you next time.